Today we're watching horrible ways parents used to punish their kids. Bro, you might be wondering why I got egg on my head, because I was streaming and someone apparently donated like $100. Literally after 1 second of me saying, if someone donates $100, I'm cracking an egg. So I cracked an egg. But yeah, let's watch this horrible ways parents used to punish their kids.
Spare the rod and spoil the child. This is something you won't hear many parents saying today, but you don't have to go too far back to when it was often said. The term that originated in the Bible basically means that if parents don't give their kids a good beating now and again, they will become spoiled. For the most part,
my mom literally used to say, I beat you for your better. I don't want to hurt you, but I have to beat you up. I have to smack you. And I do it so you become a better person. It's for your benefit. That's why I used to get smacked.
Corporal punishment is frowned upon today, and in many countries it's illegal. But go and ask a bunch of Generation X's about their childhood, and no doubt you'll hear stories of parents taking a slipper to them, or teachers in school bringing out the cane or paddle and ready.
Yo, if you live in India, do you still get smacked in your head? Do the teachers still hit you guys?
While those beaten in Generation X may still be traumatized today relating to the punishments they suffered, we can't even imagine what kids in the past must have felt.
Oh my god, bro. My teachers, bro. These are my teachers. We pay them to teach us. They used to smack me, hit me on the legs with like a ruler or scale. A lot of it used to put our hands up, keep smacking our legs. If our hands come down, she comes and gives another snap.
Back in the day was, for the most part, just more barbaric in nature. So,
chat, my bad. I don't have YouTube Premium, bro.
So before we tell you exactly how it was barbaric, let's first touch on why it was. The obvious thing you might think of is just because life was harder in general. Listen to older folks talk about their wartime years in, say, the UK, and you'll hear stories of hardships and Christmases in which they were presented with the wonderful gift of an apple. If parents' lives were full of hardships and woes, of course that might sometimes mean kids' lives were hard. We've likely all heard the words from an older person, "Oh, when I was your age," and then you're told how life was so tough for them. You might well say that one day yourself. Trust us. You might say you'll never say it, but
I just realized I'm old. Bro, I be saying to my little cousins, when I was your age, I used to get smacked in the school. I'm really getting old, bro, because I'm 22 and they're like 11, 10 and 11, 12. Oh my god, I didn't realize, damn, I'm getting old.
It might well happen. Our research led us to the writer Steven Pinker, and in his huge book on the history of human violence, he has a part on what he calls the rights movements. This included human rights in general, women's rights, civil rights, gay rights, animal rights, and the topic of today's show, children's rights. You see, before these great movements, people had few channels to redress abuse when it happened. If you were a kid, you were at the mercy of your parents or teachers, and you might be told that you should be seen but not heard. You took your beating on the chin, and if you opened your mouth or spilled too many tears, you might just get more of a beating. Social services were not going to get in on the act. Kids essentially had no rights. According to Pinker, the majority of people in the past believed parents needed to be savage like this because if they weren't, the kid would grow unruly and have no respect for them or authority.
Bro, my mom used to hit me, right? And if she used to be like, chup ho, like that means like, don't cry no more. If you cry one more, I'll hit you more. Then I used to be like, ah. And if I would cry, she'll beat me more. I didn't realize I was being tortured.
In the 18th and 19th centuries in America, he writes that kids were hardened with whips, sticks, and rods. But all over the world, kids were neglected or tortured. He also mentioned something called the parent-offspring conflict, which means that parents and children might be in conflict over the amount of investment the parents should put into the upbringing of a child. Having kids was seen as hard work. It was even dangerous for the women back then. And so the kids were so often seen as just lucky to be alive and to have food and shelter. For that, they had to pay back, be good kids, and parents were very willing to beat them to make that happen. The kids, on the other hand, have their own expectations as to how they're treated. Concepts of child rearing started to change during the age of reason and enlightenment, when great thinkers started saying that kids were grown-ups in the making, and how you treat them will affect how they'll become as adults. English philosopher John Locke proposed that just mindless beating didn't work, and that kids had to learn from their mistakes. This seems basic now, but back then it wasn't. It was progressive. For hundreds of years, it was said kids were little devils, and the devils.
This was like so normal for me, bro. I didn't even think this was wrong until now. You know, in today's world, bro, everything is accepted. You could like one day wake up, identify as a different pronoun. No, you could do that. You could do anything and people will accept it. If you get hit, you could call Child Protective Services and your parents get taken to jail or something, or you get taken away.
Kids were treated like disasters waiting to happen, born with badness. But then writers such as Jean-Jacques Rousseau said, wait a minute, we're born pure, a blank slate, and it's what happens to us that can create a demon. Everything degenerates in the hands of man, he wrote. But still, it would be a long time until parents hung up their rods and whips. Okay, so there you have a simple explanation. Some parents were brutal because life was hard, because they thought kids needed badness beaten out of them.
The kids are a reflection of you in a way. Like, I feel like you know how it happens, like if you are drinking a lot, if your dad is like a nashiri and always drinking, the kid might end up being like that. Like if let's say your kids are the best parents in the world, they are smart, they are disciplined in life, they're working, they're studying, whatever, your parents, you would probably end up like that. If your parents have little bad things going on in life, you might end up catching some of those. But sometimes it's also inspired by the kids going out and meeting other people, other kids, and they get inspired by that. So it's basically the parents' fault end of the day. My mom watch this and get mad at me.
Then we thought, maybe we shouldn't beat them so hard, torture them. But it wasn't until only recently that parents started to think mere spanking was bad. Nowadays, we even have critics telling us that we're too nice to our kids. But now let's talk about some of those punishments. Really mean is a stick. Hitting kids with a stick was quite the normal thing, and it's not difficult to imagine how it happened. In later years, you would find parents using household objects, such as when kids in the UK would talk about getting the shoe. This was also sometimes called slipper.
I got chappal here.
In schools, caning and paddling was not abnormal until it was outlawed most places in the late 20th century.
Why is a teacher built like this, bro?
News reports today that talk about people being caned in public for ostensible wrongdoings. Paddling caused less damage to the skin than a stick, but it still hurt like hell. You can also find school punishments in the English Harrow Punishment book, and you'll find whipping stools or ceremonial birching. This is when a kid is tied over something, has his pants pulled down, and is hit with a bundle of birch twigs. The flapper. We'll let the writer of a book about corporal punishment through the ages describe
that's
to you
a
what
bread
the flapper
maker
was.
for the tama.
There is historical evidence for frequent use of various sorts of instruments for beating by parents and teachers, including special appliances for flogging children at school, such as the flapper, which had a pear-shaped end and a round hole to raise blisters. Just to make that worse, we're told that these punishments would start in infancy, and according to DeMouse, they often had an erotic element to them as the
kid can't even speak yet or walk yet, and he's getting whooped. That is crazy.
Torturing and beating kids didn't work. Sometimes parents would hurt their children psychologically. We might recall European folktales that often included kids wandering off someplace only to be eaten and have their bones ground to dust. But what about those awful nursery rhymes? This is one such rhyme some English kids learned when they were just infants. Baby, 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 if he hears you, as he gallops past your house, limb from limb he'll tear you, just as a pussy tears a mouse. And he'll beat you, beat you, beat you, and he'll beat you all to pap, and he'll eat you, eat you, eat you, every morsel, snap, snap, snap. We can imagine that that was less entertaining than SpongeBob, but perhaps those kids were quite embedded.
What?
If not traumatized for life.
Yo, okay, chat, we're living a way better life now, bro. Go pray to God and thank God for this great life, bro. I haven't gotten whooped in like a year, I guess. Chat, ain't no way it's this bad, bro. Tell me your worst punishments in the chat right now, or in the comment section if you're watching this on Primz Unfiltered. Let me know, because my worst whooping, I think it was just getting beat by a balloon. That hurt the most. That would hurt like inside, not the outside. It would hurt like the inside of my skin, my bones and everything. But yeah, thank you guys for watching till the end. If you enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in the next video. Oi, oi.